Hi, Juliette. Just picking this right up again on email 26, March 31st, 2017. Dear Lori, I found myself in court fighting two parking tickets that were so obviously not my fault. I felt compelled to fight them, even though they were only $20 each. I just feel tired of being blamed for something I did not do. And this extends to many things not concerning you. I sat there for an hour and a half before I went in front of the judge. I had for each written an extensive explanation with pictures and was sure I was going to get a letter back saying they were dismissed, but I was called into court. In the end, it was to come back for a trial or accept the DA's offer to reduce them to $10 each. The judge never had read or even seen my evidence. I realized that being in the right has nothing to do with justice. This isn't just another example, getting off the email to your mother, of how broken the court system is. They're there, in this case, to make money and to write tickets to make money. And if they can't get $20, they're going to get 10 from you. They're not going to let you go. Um, justice in the court systems and being right have nothing, really don't go hand in hand. In fact, the people have been put to death that were innocent, which is why I'm against the death penalty. And with DNA evidence, hundreds of people have been let out of jail in the last 10 years because of DNA evidence, because of people who have lied in court. And I hate to say it, but the majority has been black men being released over the false testimony of white women. I don't like to bring race into it, but the figures were so compelling that it shocked me. Okay, back to the email. I was saddened to see the first guy up, a young man in handcuffs, a black kid of just 23 years. It was his fourth offense, and he was offered $10,000 bail. I have no idea what he did, and he may in fact have been a bad person. But I couldn't help feel he was a victim of just being in a society that let him down. And in fact, he's redeemable. I have no hope of in him getting justice either. And his being black put a rubber stamp on that. We got to remember that in our society, even in this year, in this day and age, that if you're black, you're really can get in a lot of because of prejudice and racism. You know, it's even worse in the court system for you. Uh, but anyway, continue with the email. I felt my complaint was insignificant, but how can we not fight for our innocence? That is why I carried through with our trial. I was not going to not fight for the most precious thing in my life. Your mother and her lawyer offered me a deal to not go to trial and just be able to write you letters. I knew you weren't going to get those letters. My gut feeling told me that. So they would save the money of not having to go to trial after dragging me in there for 8 months. To hell that I was not going to. The trial was so ridiculous. But you will hear about the trial eventually. But I have skipped over the trial because I want to put it in a way that is going to, let's say, not break any laws or whatever. Even the minutes of the trial. Okay. Continue with email to your mother. I was reading Christopher Hitchens' autobiography, and he answered the Proust test. You may be familiar with it. And when he was asked what he wanted the most for himself in life, it was to be vindicated before he died. Boy, did that hit home. Well, I have been vindicated by my friends and family. Even my sister believes me now that I could never hurt anybody. I couldn't even believe your family would think I would be capable of it. I know this is your story and you are sticking with it, but I could, for example, and remember, you're to get away from the email. Your mother's story was that I said I was going to do these things. But no one would believe would ever be capable of harming her or you. It would be ridiculous. For example, going forward, it is not about what I did wrong or what you did wrong. It's about helping our daughter. I still can't understand how easily what happened to me could have happened and how you could afford to have paid for it all. That still confuses me. Where you always said your mother always said she was broke. Where did she get this money from uh, it's very confusing. The end of the email says this: there is a saying, walk a mile in someone else's shoes. But how could you possibly understand more than 400 days of pure suffering? The agony I suffer and the helplessness I feel. I dream all day of seeing my daughter again. I will never turn my back on her, but at least have the satisfaction of now knowing a stone and a place up in Paterson, New York, very shortly. I can enjoy my mother and brother again. This is a reference to my making my will, which I was in the process of doing. I try and hold on to hope, but my soul has been damaged. I will never treat anybody badly again. I paid the price, far too much a price. But if you knew me now, you would see that part of me that harbored anger and resentment are gone. I'm just an old man, a very, very sad one. Okay, where are we at? 6 minutes. Let's carry on. This is April 8th, getting close to your birthday. I see Juliette's tried to go back to Dawes Ferry for a day, but apparently it didn't work out. I would like you to keep me updated on Juliette's progress. What doctor she is seeing, what therapy or medicine she is taking. I am her father. I have the right to know. I could give a rat's ass about you taking him back to court because I will have that letter from your friend that you lied about anything. See, I have no worries about your mother taking me back to court because, that once I show that letter to the judge, it's all over. The other thing is that your mother would never tell me the medicines you were out taking or what doctors you were seeing until much later on. This is in April, let's say. It would not be till after October that she would actually give you the names of your psychiatrist or the names of the medicines you're on. Not to mention, I never knew of Dr. Redenberg at your school or anything like that. She would tell me nothing. The email continues to your mother. Now I have no plan to throw you under the bus. See, I did write that. I talked to my therapist and I said, I got to be careful about writing things like that in emails because, it's like, I'm going to kill you. You take that literally. He's threatened to throw me under a bus, it's just an expression, We'll get to expressions later on. I have no plan I can't believe I actually wrote that. I have no plan of telling your family or friends that you lied. I have no plan of telling your fans and friends that you lied, but I know it, and so do you. Well, I have no plans of telling them when I wrote that, but time is running out. And when that time runs out, and that probably will be when you graduate high school, they're going to get all of it, including, except for the letter, which they'll get when I die. I want to drop this silliness and help Juliette. From all the professionals I've spoken with, they said the step would be to have her get rid of her rational fear of me. She needs me. Doesn't that make sense? Family therapy? Now, I go back into the position you were in. You can't tell your friends or family you lied, but you must find a way to allow me to get back into Juliette's life. If you think waiting another 6 months is the answer, I think you're wrong. because God forbid I get a phone call that my daughter was so depressed that she killed herself. And, this happens. I know the lies were constructed by Iris, and my lawyer refused to go after the obvious ones, like the I punched you with my fist, or you stayed all night in Manhattan because you were so scared. Who the F pays $200-300 to stay in a Manhattan? Why not go to a cheap motel?